Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review of Iron Man 2020 Issue 3. And this was a pretty good issue. This is like tying up some of the kind of plots that we've been seeing throughout the years, really bringing in the whole thing with like Tony and Arno's stuff and kind of bringing everybody kind of together to kind of get on the same page with this extinction entity. And it's really kind of cool to finally see that kind of coalesce and become this big thing while this robot revolution is going on. So we start off the issue, we see that Herbie's freaking out, like, what are we gonna do? Andy has Machine Smith in a kind of tablet, and they decide to book it. They're able to jump out and get outside of the building. And of course, Machine Smith starts telling all of the robots involved and spreading it everywhere, being like, listen, everybody needs to get here and stop this thing now. Otherwise, you're all going to be slaves. It's like, oh crap. So it then shifts from that to Mark 1 and Arno doing their fight and everything. And of course, Mark 1 tries to lay down his knowledge. Like, oh, you use my God Killer blueprints. Let me do this. Tries to push a button, and of course, it doesn't work. Arno, of course, gloats that he is the smarter Stark, figured out for that, and then pretty much hugs him and says, hey, how about we get closer, and uses the cogs to pretty much rip apart Mark 1's armor and makes him kind of pass out. We then move to Bane and Andy as they're flying in a helicopter, and Bane pretty much does her shtick of being like, guess what? We know you're the mole and that you're working with Bethany Cave, and we're going to be letting you go. And at first you think that they're going to push him out of the helicopter and kill him, but no, they just put him on a roof with his stuff. He's like, no, why would I do that? No, you're never going to work in this industry again. Bye-bye. It's like, crap. Okay, so Andy's cut loose. We'll have to see how his character works out in the scheme of things. I have liked his introduction as a character, and I can't wait to see kind of. I hope that they use him effectively going forward, and that this is just kind of a setback because I've liked his addition to the Iron Man kind of team. So we then move on, and we see that Mark One wakes up and figures out the whole spiel of his parents are alive because they made him a cake with Tony on it. He's like, "Hey, Stark family reunion." That Arno says with Maria. It's like, "Oh God." He's like, what's going on here?" He's like, "Hey, you know those pods that you use to kind of rebuild your body? I took the programs that you made off of our parents and I gave them biological forms." And Mark One's like, "Are you insane? They went crazy in the escape, and they also killed Friday." And he's like, "Well, you killed them too," because he's bringing up the whole kind of conundrum of AI and robots and everything because he's fighting for like robotic freedom, and it's kind of hypocritical to be talking about that with what he did to the Maria and Howard programs. But to be fair, they were going insane and messing around inside of the escape while the controller was doing messed up stuff as well. So Tony, Tony slash Mark One really didn't have a choice in the matter on that kind of front. But of course, he's like, all right, I brought you here to explain why I'm doing all this stuff because everything you're doing is sowing more discord than anything. I need everybody united to help me on this front. That's why I have this armor, that's why it's going on. And he lays down the extinction entity and all that kind of stuff. And of course, Howard and Maria are backing him up, saying, like, Arno was made for this stuff. And Arno, of course, comes off in the beginning saying, I didn't want you to think I was crazy. But of course, at the end, Mark One's like, you nuts, you crazy. Arno's like, whatever. And of course, this is when he gets a security alert that like robots are attacking the where they're living. It's like, what? I didn't account for this, but it's like all of them. I'm like, you're gonna push off an operating system update that's gonna essentially make it so that no robots have any free will. Of course, they're gonna come in and try and push your shit in, bruh. So of course, Mark One sees this as his opportunity to kind of get to the top of the building and mess with the antenna and satellite dish thing going on up there. So he uses his little power in the suit and is able to get outside, but of course Arno kind of blasts him to make the suit pretty much non-functional. And while this is going on, Herbie's trying to figure out what he can do. He's like, Aaron, where the fuck are you? And finds the rocket launcher. He's like, all right. So Mark One pretty much plugs himself in to try and stop what's going on and make the antenna unusable. And Arno's just about to get to him, but Herbie shoots him with a rocket launcher to give him enough time. Mark 1's able to finish up his stuff, and of course Arno's like, you know what? I don't really let my emotions get the best of me, but yeah, I'm gonna call you a disappointment. And unleashes this unholy blast onto Mark 1 that seems like it killed him because he got blasted with it, and then also fell down as we see Andy kind of holding him as that ends out the issue. So we'll kind of have to see how that kind of works out because that's a pretty big thing. And Arno still has the problem that he's got a gigantic mass of robots that he's got to deal with. He's got to probably either build another antenna or like go commandeer another antenna to push his update and everything. And we'll have to see how that kind of works out. It's like, oh crap, that's a pretty interesting way to end an issue. It's like, all right, we'll have to see how this goes. So those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.